You should always think twice before clicking the post button on social media, especially because it's fast becoming the norm, not the exception, for social media activity to come up in divorce proceedings. While it can seem fun and frivolous, having those unfiltered thoughts and behaviors available for all to see, it can get you into real trouble. Gabriella Keeble is a lawyer who's seen things turn nasty. Let's find out what we should and shouldn't be saying. Gabriella, thank you so much for your time. So what exactly should you be careful of when posting on social media while you are in divorce proceedings or ahead of divorce proceedings?
Thanks, Tafuma. It's a very tricky one. With divorce proceedings, you often dealing with custody arrangements or maintenance, as well as the division of property. And when posting, you've got to be careful, because what you are alleging in your documents, if you are maybe hiding some of your assets, or if you are engaging in activities that your significant other may not be comfortable with, or is, illegal activities, then this is something that can be used against you. And most often we find it in the actual discussions that take place, or the the settlement discussions, or maybe even used as a ploy to delay the proceedings with divorce or maintenance matters. That's often used against you. So definitely be careful not to post anything that condones any illegal activity, or anything that may be negative towards your partner or your ex-partner that may impact those proceedings.
How do those social media posts get admitted into legal proceedings?
So it's not always the case that it's admitted in the proceedings. It may be if it's being used within the actual court documents itself. So if your opponent, your former spouse, has or partner has alleged anything, they would obviously use this as evidence. But what is often the case, more often than it actually being admitted into the proceedings, is that it's used on a almost without prejudice basis between the attorneys or between the parties, and almost used as a ploy to get them to agree to what you want, instead of reaching a reasonable compromise.
Could you ever have a situation, Gabriella, where you are forced to turn over your passwords for emails, social media, etc., by the court?
It's rare, but it does happen. Most of the time, you'll actually just be subpoenaed, or that information will be requested in discovery. So you would request that that person furnish all information. So this would be, if it's emails or WhatsApp correspondence, for example, you would then be requested to furnish all of that. If the other side or the court believes that you are not being open, you're not being transparent, and you're not giving everything that you actually have, then they would request that you furnish that details, and it will be investigated.
I've seen in some cases individuals using social media as sort of like a venting tool to share their troubles and to talk about their ex-partner or spouse. How does that affect the process?
It definitely affects it when you've got children involved as well. But not only that, it affects your relationship between the parties. It's always easier when you're dealing with divorce proceedings if both parties are doing it in good faith, that they are almost amicable, right? Although it is difficult given the nature of divorce proceedings. But when you start posting information or venting or, defaming the other person, this causes a lot of bad blood. And it's then very difficult for the parties to actually reach a compromise or to proceed. And often you'll then find another party that delays it. We had a matter where, you're dealing with a divorce and you're dealing with the maintenance, but it's two separate matters out of court, even though it stems from the same issue. And there, because of one party that continuously, defamed the other and was posting stuff that the other party didn't agree to, was posting information about the child, even though they had requested it not get posted online, that almost delayed the proceeding. And we ended up running for about 2 or 3 years just to get a divorce and a maintenance matter finalized, purely because you are posting information and venting, and it's causing this bad blood between the parties, and it's not helpful in reaching an amicable solution.
And I suppose it's not just about what you post, but what other people are able to post as well. You know, you're out with friends or family, and that could be detrimental.
Definitely. You know, you're looking at, while you as an individual may be, you know, careful what you're posting online, you might have people in your circle that are also posting that information. So you may not be the one, and you may be careful, but that information is still getting leaked somehow. Or, you know, you involved in these illegal activities or activities that your spouse doesn't agree to, it's still being leaked online. You're still finding images of you out partying on the weekend. It's difficult to control that, but you can try and engage in discussions with those in your circle. And when it comes to information about your children as well, to almost have these frank discussions with them. Again, you know, you have that freedom of privacy, but at the end of the day, it's on a public domain. People have freedom of expression, but that cannot be condoned if it is violating someone else's right to privacy as well.
All right, Gabriella, thank you so much for that illuminating conversation. Legal expert Gabriella Keeble. Coming up.